It's overwhelming. I'm absolutely over the moon. It's such a special treat to have this at Wembley, a place that is so iconic and reminiscent of, obviously, the famous Live Aid concert that goes down as one of the greatest of all time. Oh, the many facets of the man. I mean, you could say he was 9, 10 different people at once, but it was just one Freddie Mercury who at times was superhuman and at times had the same kind of human conditional problems that we all have. A little bit of loneliness, a little bit of conflict, trying to figure out our identity, an immigrant, a bit of a fish out of water who ended up being one of the greatest, if not the greatest performer of all time. I think you just immerse yourself in everything you can find, all the archival footage, read books, watch documentaries, but ultimately the most useful thing for me was reading his lyrics because that was a window into his soul. It almost felt like a diary for me. They're just universal. They cross every generation. I mean, the music it's popular, but it's poetic at the same time. And I think when you can mix those two things and break every stereotype and convention of what music is supposed to be, then it will live on forever.
I can't quite decide how I'm feeling. It's a lot to take in. It's incredibly exciting. I play Mary Austin, and I feel like you can't really tell Freddie's story without her. She was at the very core of his life. They met when they were very young and remained each other's greatest allies until the end of his life. There wasn't much Rami there when I was working with him. It was like walking onto set and 100% Freddie every day. So to have that electric energy on set and leading the set was phenomenal. I think people are always fascinated by the timelessness of Queen's music, and especially driven by the very different four individuals that make up this band, and led by Freddie, who is such a truly unique individual and so unapologetically himself. I think we can all use a bit of Freddie in our lives.
It's a bit overwhelming, man. It's crazy, It's so epic, but it just feels perfect that Queen should have the most epic premiere ever. We still see each other all the time as much as possible. It's hard because some of the people live in America, some of the people live in London, but we really get on. We got a little WhatsApp thread that keeps going throughout the year. I'm gonna miss these guys. I really will. It was so much fun.
It's been an emotional experience for all of us. So to get to this moment at Wembley Stadium with all these people here to watch, it's emotional. Actually, it's really emotional. We've become inseparable. The Queen refer to themselves as being like a family, and I certainly think that we've become like a family ourselves as well. There's not a day goes by where we don't speak to each other. We go on holidays together. It's nauseating, really, to an outside eye, but there's a lot of love after what we've been through. Yeah. I think tonight is going to be an event. It's going to be like a real moment. Seeing this film in front of 6,500 people on a huge screen with an amazing sound system is going to be like being transported back to those concerts. I've seen this in some pretty good cinemas with some good sound systems, and you feel the vibration in your chest as though you were in a concert, and it's going to be a buzz, I think.
I'm feeling amazing. It's overwhelming, but that's Queen, right? They're larger than life. They are epic. And come on, you got to live up to their legacy, and the only way you can do that is an event with this size and this big. It's for rock stars, right? We got to be a part of it. I mean, this is like the role of a lifetime. This is everything you ever want to be. The reason you become an actor is so you can live out other dreams. And the dream to be a rock star, not just any rock star, one of the biggest bands of all time, wrote some of the most iconic songs. It was something I just had to be a part of. Luckily, I look a lot like this guy named John Deacon, and when I found that out, I called my mom. I said, "Mom, where were you in 1983? I think this guy could be my dad. You have some explaining to do." But after that, I just had to learn how to play the bass. I had to learn the accent, everything I could, and gave it everything I had to make sure that I lived up to the legacy of John Deacon. Something really epic. It's something that you need to see on the big screen because it's enormous. Everything about Live Aid, everything about their lives, it's larger than anything you could imagine. And so it's a really wonderful thing that I think you feel the entire scope of who they were. We don't, we don't dig too much into the dirt, you know what I mean? We don't harp on anything. We make sure that it's celebratory and that Queen fans are going to love it.
It's such a great movie. I'm not usually this hired a salesman, I'm usually far more Canadian. but this movie is awesome. I'm so proud to be part of it.
I'm here with the writer of Bohemian
It's such
Rhapsody,
a tribute to Freddie Mercury and Queen, and Rami Malek is fantastic, and the whole cast is awesome. It's just a great experience. I love this movie. They called me and they said, "Do you want to be in a movie about Queen and Freddie Mercury?" And I just said yes, because I love, you know, the music of Queen from my childhood in Toronto through Wayne's World, and the script was fantastic. It was just a great experience, and the movie is awesome. I play, well, it's a pastiche of several EMI executives. There is no actual Ray Foster, but I play the EMI executive that told Queen that they can't put Bohemian Rhapsody on their album. So I thought that was a nice irony.
Because as a performer, he was big, huge, extravagant, debauched, larger than life. You know, he went big, so big screen. We'll probably barely even hold it, you know. And Rami Malek, I think, gets right inside it, from what I saw on set anyway, so I'm pretty confident.
I feel absolutely amazing. It's great, you know, any project you're part of, you hope that you'll have an opportunity that the world gets to see it. When you do a movie based around the band Queen and about Freddie Mercury, you know the world's going to want to see it, and it's really special to be here right now. So I play Paul Prenter, who was a personal assistant to the band, and then he became Freddie's personal manager. And it was during that time that he actually took him away from the band and brought him to Munich. So he was quite a disruptive influence, is probably the best way to say it. Yeah. Well, I think especially tonight, because this is a spectacle, it's I think what Freddie would have wanted is certainly what the rest of the band wanted. They wanted to put on a show. Freddie Love put on a show, and they're certainly doing it tonight.
It's fantastic, yeah. It's a great thrill to have a part of our story told so well. I think it's a good film, and I hope it brings a lot of joy to people. But a fantastic cast. We were there through all the decisions and et cetera, and then we made sure the music sounds good. Well, you know, it's basically it's rags to riches to triumph to tragedy and back, whatever. I think it's got all the ingredients.
I'm feeling exhilarated, yeah. I mean, I got up this morning thinking I am going to enjoy this, and I tell you what, I am. It's amazing. Who would have predicted all those years ago that this would be happening? You know, it's a dream come true, yeah. For about 9 years, really, yeah. And at the beginning we were very hesitant, and everyone was telling us that we should do it, and we're thinking, well, should we? And then the realization dawned that if we didn't do it, someone else was going to do it, and they weren't going to do the right job. So we get the one chance to do Freddie justice, and I feel this does. I think people will really get Freddie. I think they will understand what made him tick, what drove him, you know, and I think they'll understand his incredible confidence on stage, you know, balanced by his great kind of sensitivity off stage, you know, and his inner turmoil. It's all there, yeah. Why should they be excited? You'll have to ask them. They've been with us. I mean, we're so lucky. We have great fans. We always did. People who understood where we're coming from, you know, and didn't try to. We never got put in a box, and I think Queen fans have always understood that. You know, there is no limit to Queen music.
I don't even feel as if I'm here, but I am here, and it's awesome. My reaction was I was very touched as to how all the band portrayed themselves. It felt very real, and it made me cry. Well, I think you would have said, I hope you enjoy my movie, and the show must go on.
I feel very surreal, and it's like overwhelming, to be honest with you. It's just been a passion project of mine since day one, and we've gone through a lot of hurdles, and there's been a lot of people talking about the negative side of this, and here we are celebrating the film, so I'm really excited. I just think what Freddie and Queen did so magically was bring people together, and I thought if we could tell the story of the life of Freddie and Queen and bring people together in a theater through the music, through the story, then we're going to accomplish something. I think it's really entertaining, and it's not a Marvel movie. It was, but you know, one director once told me, you know when the stars aligned, and last year when we were casting the film, it just all came together really well. And Susie Figgis, our casting director, did a magnificent job putting me in front of Gwilym and Ben and Joe, and ultimately meeting Rami and taking the kind of risk with him that we're going to do this together. We'll either go down together or we're going to win together.
We started on this 10 years ago, the idea, and Queen and I felt the time had now come to try and make a picture around Freddie and his life with Queen because of the iconic star he is. Rami Malek deserves an Oscar. I hope he'll get one. And he has completely recreated Freddie. And there are times when watching the movie, I sort of think that I'm looking at old archive footage that I've never seen before. It's extraordinary how both Rami and the rest of the band have completely captured the essence of what Queen was, and that's why Brian and Roger and myself are so happy, and John. So that's where we are.
Well, that's the difficulty in putting together a biopic, because there's just so much to someone's life, and how to keep it entertaining and but be able to be respectful of the events of his life. So that was the challenge. It's amazing. For a year, I lived these songs, and they never get old for some reason. I think they can expect to be moved, to be very emotional, but also just having a great time. You know, hopefully we should almost have a placard in the beginning of the film saying you can sing along, it's okay, because I think people want to. When we've tested the film, you can see the heads bopping, but I think they're afraid to start singing because it's a movie, you know. But and it's not exactly a Mamma Mia kind of movie. It's a real biopic, but I hope people will feel the freedom to do what they want in the audience, you know, during the concerts.
No, it's fantastic. This film, you know, it's been a labor of love and a long time in its gestation, so it couldn't be given life in a better way. It's fantastic.
Oh, I feel gratified, relieved, excited. I've seen the film. I love it. It's right up my street. I hope it's up everyone's street. Well, the first thing I asked, I said, I'll do this, I'll take it on, but I need to interview the band. So I sat with Brian May and Roger Taylor, and they told me their story. And all the ingredients were there, literally diamonds on the ground that I just had to pick up. You know, in terms of the actors, you couldn't have asked for a better cast or a more kind of perfect facsimile of the real people. I mean, you go and pick Brian May from our Brian May, and you just see, oh, that's a one-for-one. Rami Malek is going to get a lot of attention. It's what we love, to see an actor transform and completely embody someone else. The physicality, the music, the voice, so they're all great.
Hey, Vale here with an added bonus to this video. Now, just like me, I'm sure you love movies, and I've got some pretty interesting movie budget facts, if I do say so myself. Did you know that the movie Gravity was more expensive than the Indian Mars mission? Yes. Paranormal Activity cost less than $15,000 to make, but crossed over $193 million. The production of Disney's film Tangled was more expensive than Avatar's production. Best Picture Oscar winner Moonlight was made for only $1.5 million. There hasn't been a Best Picture winner with a budget that low since Rocky. Napoleon Dynamite had a budget of only $400,000, and John Heder was paid only $1,000 for his role as Napoleon. Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides officially holds the record for the most expensive movie ever made, with a budget of $378.5 million. Okay, so if you want to watch more videos like this, hit the subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you receive the videos the moment they are online. Bye bye!